finishing up paintings. Before you put them on your website or before you submit them to a show, you want them to be the best you can be. I have a stack here. These are some I've done over the last year or so. I want to go through them. I want to see if I can add a pizzazz to some of them, do a little touch of something to finish it up, or just step back, re-examine it, and say it's good. Here's another. I kind of like this, but it feels like it's just a typical scene. So there's my photo. I'm going to send that off to Procreate. Go into Procreate. Open the photo. Now I can play with it. This one, I'm wondering about perhaps a sailboat in the distance. Why am I not? All right, I can't get the light to work, so I'm going to do an eraser, bring it down, and try erasing. Sailboat, too big. Still too big. I know this area and that sailboat is too big for being out on that horizon. Maybe something like that. It's too bright, but I'll soften it. I had to use the eraser to get that done. The other thing I want is, this is kind of all bright. That seems to be working. See, now I can pick some of this up. I want a middle gray here. I want to soften it. I want a different marking tool. I'll look in my recents to see what I have. Something like this that breaks it up. Fairly large, but not too large, and rather transparent. I don't want my opacity to be too heavy. Just gonna bring that pink down a little bit. Maybe even a little bit more. Deepen it just a little bit more. It's taking so much attention. And then if I can bring it down into a softer area. That's pretty light. Gonna get rid of that. I want it deeper. Let's pick this, deepen it a bit, soften that down. Deepen that. See, that looks a little better already to me. I think it was just a little too garish overall. Yeah, kind of soften overall down here too. I think that looks a little better. And possibly a bright line right along the horizon leading over to the sailboat. Right behind the trees, a bright line, and then softening the rocks. Let's try that. I get talking and I know my voice doesn't sound very exciting because I'm thinking so much. And look, the edge of my iPad picked up some pastel and spread it around on the painting. All right, so we need a little hint. I want something light but not white. This is not white, it's a softer gray. Checking out the marks it'll make over here. Yeah, maybe, see, I like that small one. And I can put a smaller one back there as well. Let's not overdo it. Now I'm going to have to get in your way. Now let's do a thin glaze over some of those rocks. I think this Richardson is soft enough to lightly glaze those so they're not quite as intense. It's going to soften and push that back a little bit. Thought I had a piece of tape here to hold this down. Yep, something happened there. Okay. It's a little softer. Let's go a little deeper. And deeper. That intensity was just almost screaming at me, and I think I'm going to like it better now that this is softer in many ways. I'm just doing a light glaze. I have to go a little deeper. I think I'm going to do a vine charcoal here. Yeah. Light hand, keep it glazing. Using the edge, I run it this way to give a nice sharpness. Now I've got a repetition. I've got a repetition of this truncated pyramid, triangle shape here, here, and here, so I want to switch that off. Bring in some sharp lines to indicate rocks. Some light, some darker. Step back, take a look. Now I'm brushing it so it kind of softens all of the rock shapes here. Some random crack marks. I think that little triangle shape there is bothersome as well. Break it up a little bit. Overall, I think that's a little bit better. Maybe I can do a little side-by-side comparison as to what it used to look like. I want this down. When I may say down, I want it down in value. It's kind of hard to talk sometimes and paint at the same time. All right, I don't want to mess this too much. Balance of darks. Again, that intense pink was just taking over. I need a short little vine charcoal that I can use to add some of those horizontal lines of dead branches coming off those trees. A branch coming out. Let's see. It's a little better. I like that one better. One spot needs to soften again. That edge and that spot right there. Of course, this that's over on the ivory is going to be framed out. That won't even be in the picture. And a hint of shadow on that distant boat. Just a hint. A little hint of a line. Okay. I think we're good on this one. Let's move on.